Welcome everybody. A lot of you guys do know us, but just in case you don't, I'm Joe.
And I'm Rachel.
And we're two crazy ketos, and today we want to talk about, Robin gave it a different title than we originally had decided. So she titled our talk today, Embracing Keto with Little Support. Did they actually fix this? Yes, they did. But actually what we want to talk about is what happens if nobody's on board our keto journey with us?
Yeah, because I think that that's definitely something, that speaks to people. I think that there's a lot of people that they think, I'm on my own. I'm the only person that I know. I'm the only person in my community. I'm the only person at work. I'm the only person in my family or my friend group. I'm the only person at church that's like, are we serving more bacon or is this just pastries? Is this what we're doing? Okay, all right, it's all right. I ate yesterday. Right? So, and I'm thinking that maybe if someone also is doing like coaching or something, and maybe this could help you as you work with clients who maybe experience this, because you're like, gosh, everybody I know is keto. So how do you speak to somebody who has nobody on board with them?
Yeah, so for the probably one person who doesn't know who we are, so basically we wanted to talk a little bit about us, tell you who we are, because we've been in the same boat. Okay, we've been in the same boat as probably everybody that's here at Keto Con. We've both been morbidly obese. I've been morbidly obese pretty much my whole life. I can remember all the way back to when I was 5 and 6 and 7 years old, and my mother taking me to the Husky section.
That's so fun, right? Like there's a special section.
And not only was it with the Husky section, but she made me wear corduroy.
Excuse me, pardon me.
And I had a grandmother who sewed, so myself and my sister, who is a year and a half younger than me, had to wear the same clothes. And they were handmade by my grandmother, and they were not pretty. They were like plaid, and it was not a fun experience growing up. And growing up with a mother who was an oncologist and a father who was a PhD clinical chemist, I was always told, you need to lose weight. You need to lose weight. You're heavy. You're going to get diabetes. And back then, diabetes really was a big fat person disease. And it was also, if you got diabetes, you're done with sugar the rest of your life, right? There was no metformin. There was no, hey, you can take this pill and keep eating sugar. It was, and so as a kid, that was really fearful. Like being told like you're going to have to get injections every day. So it was something that what it did for me was make me sneaky. And I got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I went off to college and I didn't have anybody telling me what I could eat, I got even bigger. So we've both been there.
Yeah, for me too. So by the time we actually started our keto journey, I want to say more than 300 pounds, but I had stopped weighing like right around 280. Probably it was like the last time that I actually stepped on the scale and was ready to like face the numbers, play that game, right? So, and I have been heavy my entire life. I can remember them trying to, in 3rd grade, trying to move me in like the class picture because they knew that this would like do damage to me if I saw the yearbook photo like later on, they'd be like, you're as big as the teacher, so we're gonna move you over here in the back. Actually back there, maybe just go out that door, that'd be fine. So, and then the middle school experience. If you've ever been heavy when you were in middle school, that was a unique pain that went with that. And I definitely experienced the whole, like you walk through the middle school lunchroom and you're looking like, can I please sit there? Please, can I sit there? Because I was a nerd too. I was a heavy nerd. Like how much can you compound in one person? And I would look and people would be like no. On the bus ride, is there room for me next to you on the bus? No, you're too big to sit next to me. So I kind of just got used to not looking up anymore because I just figured if I did look up, I was just going to be met with rejection. So just keep looking at your feet and then you'll never experience any more hurts.
So all this to say that we understand your pain. Okay, we really do. So not only was I overweight my whole life, when I became an adult, I went off to college, and like I said, I got big. And I actually I went to college in upstate New York, in Poughkeepsie, New York, at Marist College, and I worked in New York City nightclubs. So I was a bouncer, which is why Rachel always says I have resting mean face. because that was my job. My job was to look mean. I was a big guy, so
well done, sir.
As a big fat guy, I was intimidating. Okay, so I was driving home one night and I had a car accident at 4 o'clock in the morning on the Taconic State Parkway, and we flipped the car, and this was before cell phones, and I shattered my ankle in 37 different places, and I ended up with 17 pins in my ankle. I was told I would never ever walk again. I lost all the blood supply to the bone, spent 2.5 years on crutches, and then all of a sudden the doctor said, you can walk. And I'm like, yay, I get to walk. I walk with a severe limp. I still walk with a severe limp today. A lot of people come up to me and say, why are you limping? It's because I have massive arthritis. But from the time I was 20 until 5 years ago, I took Arthrotec, which is an arthritis medication, and it started out as OxyContin until you couldn't get them anymore. I took Vicodin pretty much every day for 30 years. And I didn't like the feeling that you would get on them, so I took them when you needed them, which was pretty much every day. And what ended up happening was I started my keto journey to lose weight. It was a weight loss fad. And I was actually really blessed. I was in a church, and one of the members of our church had a CrossFit, and they gave us all a discount. It was $50, which, if you know anything about CrossFit is like cheaper than most gyms. Most CrossFits are about $150, and I was doing okay. I weighed over 300 pounds. I was getting special help because of all of my debilitating injuries. And then the owner said, we gotta close the CrossFit because of course you can't run a CrossFit when every member is from your church and they're only paying $50.
Right.
And now I was like, now what? Well, I was actually blessed that Danny Vega was attending our church. He was actually leaving right as this was all happening. So I had heard rumblings of keto. And so I started researching keto, and I went to Rachel and I said, I'm gonna do this keto thing. I did Atkins years ago. It worked well, but then I got to the phase where you bring carbs back in, and yeah, that didn't work. And she said, you can do this so long as it doesn't cost our family $1. It cannot cost any money, no supplements, no nothing. You can do it fine, and I did it.
Yeah, we're thankful that you did.
In doing that, I lost a whole bunch of weight. I lost 100 pounds. But what I did not understand about keto was this whole idea that there's another side of it. There's a health side of it. There's an improvement in things. And 6 months into it, to kind of backtrack, that February, had told Rachel this is the last year that I'm going to be a high school sports official because the doctor said I need an ankle replacement, and that's a 1 to 2 year recovery period. And I'm like, well, all of my money is laid on my feet, so I hope you can support our family with our $2,000 a month income working in a church. Yeah. And 6 months in, I got up one day from 5 football games, and I looked at her and I'm like, I haven't taken a painkiller in 6 months.
Wow.
Didn't even know it was happening. And that's why we never have gone off the keto in 5 years.
Yeah, so pain is a powerful motivator, as our friend Steve says all of the time. But not only do we understand pain, but we also understand hurt. We've both experienced embarrassment and disappointment. We know what it's like to walk your children up to the top of a water slide only to be asked to walk back down again and tell your kid, like, you're gonna have to go without me because there's a weight limit or there's a size restriction and I can't go down with you. We know what it's like to get on a plane and have to order an extender or two and have to purchase multiple seats for us to go someplace.
Which, by the way, can we pause? Can we really believe that was Rachel 5 years ago?
Wow.
No, I can't.
So we've been there. We know what goes into it.
So that's our mess. And what happened was 3 years ago, we started our YouTube channel. You've never seen it. If you've never seen it, we talk about it all the time. We started it as a joke. This was a second marriage for us, and we've never experienced marriage together without children. And one day we came home from church, and Rachel's like, "What are we going to do? We better learn how to be married without children because we've never experienced it." And she's like, "What do you want to do?" Well, at the time, people were asking me, how did you lose 100 pounds? And I would spend 30 minutes going, this is how you lose 100 pounds. You eat a lot of meat, you don't eat sugar, you don't eat grains, and you eat a lot of butter and bacon. And they would go after 30 minutes, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I would be like, oh, just wasted 30 minutes of my life. And so when she said this, I'm like, let's start a YouTube channel. And she was like, I can't, I'm gonna vomit every time we turn the camera on.
Yeah, because the thing that I didn't realize was what keto would do for anxiety and depression, because in addition to having lifelong obesity, I didn't understand there was a connection. I had lifelong social anxiety, depression. It was very hard for me to speak one-on-one with an individual person, let alone in front of someone. So I feel like every day, this right here, this is victory right now. I'm standing on victory. So exciting. So I'm really thankful for the opportunity to show you my fat rolls. I love showing you my fat rolls because my mess has become my message.
Yeah. So we started a YouTube channel. We didn't really do anything with it. February of 2019. We were doing a video and we said, we had like 200 subscribers, and I said, wow, I heard about this thing, Keto Con, I'd love to go, but we're broke, we can't afford it. And two people who couldn't be here this weekend, Heather and Phil Gift, I will forever be grateful to those two people. They were like early subscribers, and they messaged us and they said, hey, we have 2 tickets, we want to give them to you. So we came. And when we showed up here, the one thing we noticed was everybody walked around the way we did our whole life. Rachel talks about friends and stuff. I couldn't tell you today the name of one friend from all the way through college because I didn't have any. Wow. And when we got here, we noticed everybody walks like us. Everybody walks looking down at the floor. They never look up because they're embarrassed of how they look. And I looked at Rachel and I'm like, we need to create a mission. Our mission is to create a community where everybody is happy to look up. And so that mess that we've had our entire life has now become our message. But the problem is, in this message and what we do, sometimes people weren't on board with what we were doing.
Yeah, and we've experienced that too. And so when you say like everybody wasn't on board, that's such a broad paintbrush. But there's a lot of different things where you kind of hunger for somebody to be on board for you. Maybe it's your workplace. I've been at work where I'm like, I'm the only person at work. I'm the oldest person at work, and I'm the only person at work. That is, oh my gracious. And then maybe it's friends. Maybe it's, you know, I really want to be able to like go out with friends and socialize. I want to feel like I'm part of the group. But it's very challenging if you feel like your friends are not on board. Then there's the doctor issue. And we get that all the time, right? You know, I remember when my mother went on keto, reversed type 2 diabetes, didn't have to get 7 stents put in her heart because by the time she was on keto and it got to the hospital room, the blockages were gone. She thought, I'm waiting like, hey! And the doctor was like, yeah, I don't like what you're eating, you should eat Cheerios. Because the B on the commercial says, that's heart healthy, right? So that's very disappointing. And then obviously your family. You want your family to be on board. You want your partner in life to be on board.
And I can tell you, even that same mother who loves me, but was one of the first women to graduate medical school in 1967 from the University of Miami. When she saw me after losing 100 pounds, she hadn't seen me in 2 years. She saw me, she broke down in the mall crying, and I'm thinking, my mom's crying because her son is healthy. And she looked at me and said, you need to put 20 pounds back on. You're too thin. Because when you get cancer, you better have some fat to survive on. And I was fortunate enough that I met Dr. Berry a few months later, and Dr. Berry said, unfortunately, that is the old school physician mentality. So even after my mom, who my entire life told me, you're fat, now said, you're too thin, and this is a dangerous way to eat.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, before she retired, started telling her patients to eat this way. So,
redemption story.
I'm glad your mom is that one.
So that leads to the question of why weren't they on board with us?
Yeah, because that is, you know, a question that we have to contemplate. Because, you know, why are they not getting on board? I like to get to the root of the problem. For so many years, I dealt with the fruit of the problem. But what is the root? What do I have to ask myself? Is there anything that I'm doing that I could clarify in my life to get to that root of why aren't they on board?
Yeah. Now I do want to say, for those of you who don't know, we were children's pastors. So we kind of teach like in analogies and with silly little themes. Actually, if you didn't see Dr. Bob,
I gave out stickers this morning.
Dr. Bob is awesome this way as well. But here's the thing that we have to start looking at. I think for us that when we started looking at why weren't they on board, it's because they've been with us on this journey before, right? And if you ever look up, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, repeating the same, expecting a different result. While our friends and our family and our doctors all said, yeah, this is just another one of your things, and in 30 days you're going to go off a bit, or you're going to lose the weight, and then you're going to be 50 pounds heavier. So they've been there before. And I think that is one of the things that we have to realize when our friends and our family and our doctors don't want to get on board with us. It's because they've seen us do this 100 times.
Absolutely. I mean, I could name off like every major diet, Weight Watchers.
I didn't do that one.
I did it for you twice. Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem. Don't eat. I've done the don't eat diet. Cabbage soup diet. That'll lose you friends. But, I mean, they say that's free. You can eat as much cabbage soup as you want. They did not understand that I can't eat an entire stock pot.
Count your calories, which that's another whole topic, but it doesn't work. Work out too much, right? Go to the gym and work out.
That was never wrong for me.
So we have to look at that. That is something that happens, and so because we have to realize that our friends and our family and our coworkers have probably seen us do this before and they just don't want to jump on board. We need to remember to have grace for them.
Yeah, especially if they've seen, you go through that cycle, because it's not necessarily, we respond to it like sometimes in an angry way, but it's not rooted from like a bad place. They love you. My mom has seen me purchase the gold pants, get into the gold pants, and then not be able to fit into the gold pants anymore. And it's crushing. And she has picked me up off the floor and put me back together. And we have cried together over and over and over as I've experienced failure upon failure. And at some point, some of my friends and family members were like, hey, I love you so much. I love you right where you're at. And that's the message they're trying to convey. Just stay the way you are. Yeah, I got so many times, you have such a beautiful face. Just your face. I love your face. Just, that's enough.
Right. So, let's talk about what are we asking you to get on board for?
Yeah.
Right? And, a lot of us, we don't know really where we're going. Right? But we know we're going to get there. We're going to make good time going there. But we have to look at, when we ask them to join us on our keto journey, what are we asking of them? And here comes the analogy part, because there's a lot of different modes of transportation. So for those of you who do watch us, 3 weeks ago, we were driving to Keto Con.
Absolutely.
Because we were going to save $1,000.
I changed out my car for better gas mileage so that we could drive. And then we got a cheap ticket on Southwestern, and it was like, okay, doesn't make sense. I'm dropping that. And now I'm going to do this.
But there are a lot of different ways we can get to Keto Con. We could have driven, we could have taken a train, right? We can fly. There's a lot of different modes of transportation. But every mode of transportation has a different level of investment, and it has different stuff. If we would have driven, it was going to take us 3 days. We were going to have to stop every 300 miles for gas. I'd probably have to stop every 30 minutes for me to go to the bathroom because I've been drinking a lot of Zip Fizz.
Please don't.
But a plane was completely different. And so there's a lot of different modes of transportation we may ask people to get on. And here's the first one, the pedal boat. Anybody ever been on a pedal boat?
Yeah.
Not
Anybody ever take their children on a pedal boat?
Okay, same amount of hands, because you're only ever asking to go on a pedal boat because you're a child, or you're going on a pedal boat because you have a child, and they have asked you to go on a pedal boat. We were driving down the street yesterday, and I saw a pedal bar going. Has anybody? I've never seen that before. And I'm like, who in their right mind would get on that thing? Yeah, and just as in normal fashion, 5 people riding the pedal bar, 1 person not pedaling a bit, just sitting there and getting moved around.
Right. So what's the problem with the pedal boat? Now, we did have a couple things as we go through these different modes of transportation.
Yeah,
In typical Joe and Rachel fashion,
Yes.
we almost threw this entire presentation out last night. So,
Yeah.
okay.
So, because that's the whole point is really for us to examine for a moment and clarify for ourselves what mode of transportation, what mode of keto journey are you doing so that the people in your life know whether or not they want to get on board.
So we have a couple questions we want you to think about as we go over these.
Number one, who are you asking to get on board? Because they all have different levels of investment naturally in your life, right? So if you're asking, how about my workplace to get on board? Well, do you want them to get on board at the same level as like a family member? Like the whole office needs to go keto, or you won't be able to go keto. You know what I mean? All right, number two would be, why might they be hesitant to get on board? So these are just questions to ask yourself.
And as you ask yourself that, what I'm going to ask you for as a promise to yourself is, no matter what the answers to those questions are, you don't get off, okay? And see, here's the problem with the pedal boat. When you look at the pedal boat, if you've ever had a child, and this will forever be ingrained in my memory, we went to Disney. We never stayed in a Disney resort. We always stayed outside. And we would look for the ones that have the kitchens and stuff built in because then we can not have to go to a restaurant. We can just bring our own food. And this one had a pedal boat. They were shaped like a swan. And the kids were like, can we please go on it? We have three children. So we have to get two of them. And we're like, no, I know what's going to happen. And we say, okay, fine. And we get halfway out. And Rachel's over there and I'm over there. And I look at her, and we're like, we're stuck in the middle of the lake.
Yeah, I will never say it's like, goodbye, I love you, bye.
Because if you're in a pedal boat, you can't reach your destination without the other person, right? And what happens is we're afraid to quit because then we're going to keep going down, but we can't keep going without them to go, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, if my keto journey looks like a pedal boat, the other person may be hesitant to get on board because they're afraid if you quit, I'm going to have to pedal us both back. I also don't want to have that awkward confrontation when you stop pedaling where I have to say to you, you have to pick up the pace now, right? Because the whole point of us on this pedal boat is I want us to enjoy our time together. We want to make happy family memories. And if we get out, and I have to tell you now, you asked me to be your accountability partner.
We've been here.
And I need you to stop eating what you're eating, and now you're super mad at me, then, man, I don't want to get on this ride to begin with. Because I want us to have a closer relationship, not a relationship that's further apart.
The next one is the city bus.
The city bus.
How are we asking them to get on a city bus? Let's talk a little bit about a city bus. When you get on a city bus, the first thing you need is everybody has to put their 2 cents in.
They do. Right? I mean, you can't even start that journey, right? So I don't even want to ride behind a city bus. How many people, like you're in a lane and all of a sudden you realize, oh, dang it, I'm in a lane with a bus. What do? Are you like, you know what, I'm totally in, I'll get to work when I get to work. I'm sure they're fine with that. No, what is the first thing? You're like, the second I'm like saying it to myself, like, that person on the inside of my head is like, yeah, we're gonna do it, Rachel. I'm like, as soon as I can get the clearance, I am getting away from this thing. And the reason why is, it makes frequent, scheduled stops. I can be guaranteed. If my keto journey looks like a bus, it means I'm guaranteed Thanksgiving, Christmas, my birthday, my anniversary, your anniversary, like Arbor Day, like everything, I'm gonna tap out.
And here's the problem. So here is Rachel's gonna be super sweet to you, and Joe's gonna tell you to rip the Band-Aid off. Okay? You gotta get off the bus. Your keto journey, your carnivore journey, your eating the proper human diet will not work if you get on the bus, okay? The bus doesn't work. You can't stop, okay? Because if you continue to stop, you know what happens? Look at a city bus. It makes the same route over and over. It goes from here to there to here, and here. So what do? If we get on the city bus and we keep stopping for birthdays and holidays, and it's always my brother's birthday, and it's Christmas, and it's everything else.
Cousin, I forgot.
What do? We keep going back and forth in the same 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay? We gotta get off the bus. The bus is not the answer for our keto journey, okay? So what's the next one? A taxi.
I love taxis, because I'm the driver of the taxi. I mean, this is my taxi and I own my taxi. The problem with the taxi is the taxi driver is not really in charge of where they're going. The taxi driver is dependent on the little ones in the back seat of the taxi, telling them what the groceries are gonna look like in the house. So like maybe the taxi driver is like, I think that you would love seeing, Central Park this afternoon. And it's like, no, we're going someplace else today based on what the people in the back seat say.
And so here's the thing about it. Anybody ever see Die Hard with a Vengeance? Okay. I'm from New York. My favorite scene in that movie is when Bruce Willis calls and says the police officer's been shot to get the ambulance so he can get behind the ambulance and get down the road and follow everybody else. That's what happens to the taxi, right? Well, the problem with the taxi is we're letting everybody else, whether it be our parents or our spouse or our children, tell us where to go. But that's not helping our journey. And as a side note, to maybe upset somebody, if you're a parent, your children should have a say in what they're eating. You're the parent, okay? Unless they're over the age of 16 and they have a car, you determine what they eat, okay? So, I know.
You're gonna get us in trouble, but I will say they can't buy their own groceries.
And you know what? Hey, I can't eat, my kids want macaroni and cheese. Well, and if anybody else is like me, I make the macaroni and cheese, well, it's got to taste right. Let me make sure it tastes good. And then the next, that one taste becomes something else. And I can tell you even now, in my 6th year of doing keto, where I have prepared something for somebody for church, and I go, oh wait, I almost did it. I almost put it in my mouth. So my rule is it's not in the house. The kids who are older are not keto. The rule is you want bread, you want pasta, it's got to be in your room or on the bottom shelf so I can't see it. That's my rule. And they're an adult.
Yep.
Okay? What's the next one?
The next one is a cruise. Now this, if you're inviting people to a keto cruise, I mean, it looks fun, it's a lot, but there's only certain people you want to invite on the cruise, right? Why? Because do they have the time for this level of investment? A lot of people want to support you, but can they just stop what they're doing and get on board? There's a high level investment for cruising. I don't want to have a cruise as a keto journey too because I don't want to have to keep other people entertained. Sometimes, for me to have a very successful keto journey, I need to keep things simple. I need to be in the kitchen the least amount of time. It needs to be like hamburger patties and get out of there, yo. I can't be making all of these beautiful festive every single night is I saw on Instagram, they did this and it looks so amazing. I gotta keep it simple. I need to maintain the thought that this food is just fuel. It's not my friend. So I want to not be
entertained. And there's nothing wrong if you are that way.
Absolutely.
But you have to look at, this is what your friends and family are like. Am I going to have to make them elaborate meals? Am I have to? That was one of the things Rachel said. You can do keto, but it can't cost our family $1. Because we don't have the money to buy supplements. And then back then, there were no keto products. I think Keto Chapter just started, right? And we found out about it well after I lost my weight and stuff. There were no products out there. And I knew enough to stay away from Atkins stuff and all those other things. So the next one is, are we asking people to board a train with us?
I love a train, but this is no ordinary train. Are we asking people to board the Hogwarts Express, right? And I have been there, and my mom has been like, man, I want to celebrate you, but I see you brought home that magazine that says that you could lose 50 pounds before you get these groceries in the refrigerator, and I just don't think that this is going to work. I was always that person when you were putting in your macros, how fast do you want to lose this weight? Well, I have a thing to go to on Saturday, so that would really work out great for me if by Saturday we could lose, I don't know, nothing big, 120, 130 pounds, maybe, that would be great. The other thing about the Hogwarts Express is, I don't want to ride this if you're going to have resolve that it goes up and then it disappears. It appears magically all right, let's do it, it's Monday! Everybody goes on a diet on Monday, especially if it's Monday the 1st, right? But by the 4th, if I call you hey, how's your diet going? What diet? Where did that diet go? what makes it kind of hard for my family to get excited about.
And what we want you to realize is, here's the thing about keto. Keto is not a weight loss diet. Keto is a health improvement lifestyle, okay? And this is gonna upset a lot of people, but no diet, including keto, carnivore, the proper human diet, works to lose and maintain weight for the rest of your life. The only thing that works is changing your lifestyle. Okay? So don't view keto, carnivore, whichever way. I don't care if you're doing paleo. Don't view it as a diet, view it as a lifestyle. Because if you view it as a diet means there's an end point. Okay? And if there's an end point, as soon as you go off, if you haven't changed your lifestyle, you're going back. And that's where we end up with issues. Okay? So here's the one we want you to look at. This is how we want you to view your keto journey, your proper human diet journey. We want you to be on an airplane.
Yeah.
We took an airplane here. Why? For a lot of reasons.
Well, it was funny because we didn't intend, and maybe you didn't intend, for this keto lifestyle to be a lifestyle.
For the record, we wrote this before we booked an airplane.
And then we switched it to an airplane. But that's the funny thing, and I think that that's how we always kind of felt, right? And I hope a lot of people, if you still have kind of a diet mindset, that you move it over to a lifestyle and view it as an airplane. Why? Because an airplane has a high level of commitment. I mean, you're in it, right? I mean, you get on that plane, it's up in the air, you're kind of like, well, I guess we're in it. You know, nobody says, you know what, I think, pull the lever. Sir, I think I'd like to get off. Like, they're not going to stop the plane for you, right?
They don't stop for you. Maybe you have one layover.
That's exactly right.
So like Dr. Jerry says, where's your layover? Maybe your birthday or your anniversary.
Yeah, but there's not like a constant stream of
I'm going to tell you your layover is your birthday or anniversary, but you still have to stay keto. I like one of our close friends, Ask Nurse Cindy, which if you're not following her on Facebook, you need to go follow her. Okay?
She's awesome.
She's amazing, and she'll tell you on your birthday or anniversary, do whatever you want, it's got to be keto. I don't care if you eat 20,000 calories, it's got to be keto.
Yeah.
Don't give yourself that option. And when you make that one stop, when you have that layover, keep it keto.
And the cool thing about an airplane is it has a clear ultimate destination. Like that destination is constantly in mind. Wherever the layover is, you still know where you're ultimately going to wind up.
And here's the great thing about on an airplane, when you're looking at the people that you're asking to come along in this journey with you, you don't need to sit next to them.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the really cool thing. Like even my partner in life can be rows away from me. We have gone on planes. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes,
we flew on Southwest here. There was a chance we weren't sitting next to each other.
Right.
We were the last row to sit next to each other.
Sometimes I can go watch the movie I want or just go to sleep and, he can snore wildly and doesn't get bothered by me. It's a good thing. So maybe I can be keto and he could be carnivore and we're on the same plane and we can support one another. And it's possible, It's also on an airplane. I'm thankful when someone drops me off or picks me up, right? So our son Anthony got up and dropped us off for the airport. He's going to pick us up from the airport.
He doesn't know that yet.
And he's not keto, but that's okay. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him for not getting on the airplane and coming to Keto Con with me. I could enjoy my journey, get to my destination, and actually have a thankful heart for his involvement in it because he did what I needed him to do. And I understand, gosh, this is a big buy-in because this is for life for me. And if I'm asking somebody to be on board, then their levels of support, even if they are just, cheering for me, waving as I leave, it's okay. And then they can also feel secure. Somebody like maybe you have extended family that they've been trying to talk you out of keto because they're worried about you for health results, or they're worried about you because they're afraid you're going to jump in or jump out. Man, when Anthony put us on the plane, he was like not worried that we were going to jump out of the plane. No one's going to be like, hey, I'm out. I'm not going to get to the destination.
So we asked you earlier that as you go through this, ask yourself those questions, but know that you are not getting off. Unless you're willing to put a parachute on and jump off of a 747 as it's flying at 35,000 feet, don't get off. And here's the thing. If you have no friends and no family and everybody has nobody else in your life, it doesn't matter because there are some people who are going to support you.
Yeah, what's really cool is you don't realize you're on a plane right now. Keto Con is a perfect representation of a plane. Why? Because number one, I expect right now, the loved ones that you have right now, if they're not keto, the people at work that aren't keto, it's okay, you guys are still here. You are here without them. You expect that while you're here and you're learning from all of these amazing speakers and you're learning about all the keto products, you can do that without them present. You expect that they're going to be out of reach this weekend. And you know, I'm going to make some friends on the plane. Raise your hands if you have made close friends since you started keto that are just, they're like your keto friends. This is amazing. I mean, some of you all are sleeping in the same house with, I mean, really kind of like very close total strangers, right? I mean, like before keto, right? I mean, and you're like, you found out you have like relatives. They found out they had relatives that were keto, right? I mean, so you can make friends on the plane, and that's why we say all the time, you see everybody in the room, if you don't know someone, go exchange emails. You don't have to give them the PIN code to your ATM. We don't have to get that detail, that level. But make a friend. Say like, here's my Instagram, and let's talk one another so that when we go home from Keto Con and I am trying to implement something that I've learned here, then I know we're on the same page. I know that Jamie is never going to say like, Rachel, I think that you need to just like go back to the way you used to. She's never going to get, she's going to kick me right in the butt cheek to get back on track.
And here's the thing, earlier I said I couldn't tell you that you were one friend all the way through college. I've got more friends here in Keto Con and in this keto space than I still currently have at home. My best friends are sitting over here. I met them in keto. Every keto conference I happen to go to with them, we stay in the same house. I know we're annoying. Right? We're just trying to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to share the bathrooms. But they're like my closest friends, and to think about that, they're all on the same plane with me. Like, I'm confident they're not jumping off.
No, and they're gonna cheer me all. We're gonna talk the whole way, right? The whole journey. We're gonna talk and we're gonna visit and we're gonna have a big time. So ultimately, you know, we've said a lot, but it is your keto journey. I know, I'm sorry. If you can clearly identify your level of buy-in, I want you to walk out of this room feeling empowered. Instead of like feeling, gosh, nobody cares about me, you feel like when you walk out of this room, I am doing what I am doing and I am going to get to my destination and I'm okay with that. And I can be clear with the people around me what my journey is about to look like. And if you want to get on board, I'm excited to have you on board, but it's okay. And it's also going to help you identify the unique challenges that you may face.
Yeah, and here's the thing. No matter what, you have us. We came into this place 3 years ago with 200 subscribers. It is still amazing to me that 3 years later, the very first Keto Con since then, because we had 2 years of a pandemic, we've got 38,000 subscribers. We're standing on this stage. We got to MC it. We've maintained our weight loss. We talk about, I have never maintained weight loss for more than 2 months in my life. And we've maintained it for, I'm in year 6 now. Wow. And that is because of the people who are in this space. And you have us, and we set out on a mission. And we recently started, thanks to our good friend Nisha Berry, we decided that we can't stand Facebook anymore because all they do is bombard us with ads, and then they kick our subscribers out because they use the word fat as fuel. So we started a new program on Mighty Networks, and it's easy to get to. It's members.2krazyketos.com, and it's completely free. But the tagline for our community, our life's mission is we're going to change the world one ribeye at a time.
Let's do it!
So for those of you who don't know, you can find us in a lot of different places. You can find us on YouTube at 2 Crazy Ketos. After losing over 100 pounds apiece, we realized we have a lot of energy, And we don't want to waste the energy, and I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. So as you lose your weight, as you get more mobility, do something with it. As our good friend back there, Bronson Dan, said, fitness is freedom. So the more you can move, the more you have to do something with it. So we ended up starting a camping channel. We made a COVID decision and bought an RV, pressured by our friends over there. And we taught ourselves to stand up paddleboard. We go bicycling and hiking, and that's what we've decided to do with it. So we also have a YouTube channel. You can find us pretty much all over social media at 2 Crazy Ketos. And again, on our new Mighty Networks at members.2crazy ketos.
So we're really thankful that we have a smaller size, but a bigger life. And we want the same thing for you as well. And we want you to know, oh wow! Oh my God. I totally know that. So, yeah, that is mandatory in the friendship circle. If I go to high-five you, please, yes, thank you, you get it. So, but just know, if you don't have anybody on board, I'm on board. I'm on board with what you're doing. And you're loved, and you're seen, and we want to be there for you and celebrate every step of the way. So if you need us, reach out to us, but also raise your hand if you would make yourself available to be a friend if somebody needs a friend. Wow, that doesn't look like you're alone at all.
In English and Spanish.
In English and in Spanish.